feel very 2016 and 2026. We're going to bring in some flair from 2016 and some flair from 2026 to really capture the essence of 10 years of evolution of makeup. So of course, carving out the eyebrows is definitely a step that must be taken. Let's blend this all out. But we aren't going to actually do the top of the eyebrow. We're going to keep it with just the bottom. And that is definitely something that's changed with the 2026 makeup, but I feel like it's not necessary. We have moved away from using pomades. We still do, but now we are just going in with pencils and really just tracing out the line of our actual brows and filling them in. But of course, we still want a nice baddie brow. We just do them a little softer. We have to go classic 2016, bold colors, bright colors, cut crease, all the above. We're taking the Juvia's Place Festival palette. I feel like that's really going to give us all the colors that we need. And I'm really just gonna go in. I have no idea what I'm really going for, but I know I want cut crease and I want bright. So that's kind of the vision and the vibe. I'm just gonna take Ofla and really press that into the crease line. Just really tap that in. Right, now that we have the color that we want, I'm just gonna buff this out a little bit before we use another shade to buff it out. I am gonna deepen this up with the red in the palette in order to really get that cut crease defined. We're gonna take this peachy shade that's in there and a fluffy brush and really just buff out those edges. Now that we're all blended to filth, let's cut this crease. Now we need something bold in the crease. A gold shimmer. What was a cut crease without some shimmer? Now let's make sure we blend the red into this. Absolutely stunning. Oh, that is so pretty. Oh my God. Now the thing about us back then in 2026, that even though we were having these colorful, bold eyeshadow looks, we still had to add some liner on it, because what would be a look without some liner? So let's add a nice strong liner on this look. That's a wing if I've ever seen one. And of course the eyes would not be complete without a big bold lash. So let's try these out. These are by Eyelure, and that's what I'm talking about. The bigger the bolder the better. That's what the lashes needed to give, and they gave. Cute. I wasn't priming as crazily then as I do now. Full coverage was the name of the game back then, so of course I'm taking my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, and this is why she's that girl. We didn't really bronze back then, but I think bronzing definitely changed the game coming with now being 2026. So I am using more of a bronze contour kind of vibe, because contouring really just makes us look like we were dying, while bronzing definitely puts a lot of color into our skin. But we're going to do a little bit of both today for the concept of the video. So we get the coolness of the contour, but then we also get warmth back into our skin with it being a bronzer. And what we for sure weren't doing was using blush the way we do now. But now I would not miss a step of blush, because blush really brings back so much color to our skin. It looks like the blood is really pumping through our face again. So blush is definitely a step that I'm so glad that we have in 2026. What I can say we went heavy on was concealer. We definitely concealed the heck out of our faces, even when we really didn't have to. And we still do, honestly, we still do love a good concealer. It really brings back the highlight to the face, but we definitely take it a lot differently now than we did back then. So I'm actually taking two still. Right, the lighter one on the inside and the one that matches more of my skin tone on the out. I think this step doesn't change no matter what decade we're in, no matter what century we're going to be in. Concealer will always be that girl. Baking. What was 2016 without baking. And of course, we have our Huda Beauty powder to bake under the eye with. You wanted your makeup to last, you were gonna bake. Didn't really go bronzer heavy back then. We did more of our contours, of course, but I am a bronzer girl, and that is what we do now in 2026. So of course I'm taking Juvia's place because she gave us the makeup for the black girls, and putting on our bronzer just to give us back some life. That is one thing I think 2026, or this recent half of the decade, was a great change, was actually using bronzer instead of contour. Why were we trying to be ghostly back then? And then for blush, because again, we are remaining in the blush phase, the blush era. We weren't doing that so much in 2016. So now we're going to make sure she stays for 2026. And now we set everything down. We set it all down. We're taking a setting spray that melts down the makeup so we're not looking as powdery. And then lastly, we have the lips. So we were either going really bold, bright, and crazy, or we were muted. So let's figure out what we're gonna do. All right, let's try this combo. All right, first we're gonna go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills, which back then Anastasia Beverly Hills lip combos were the lips that you were looking for. This is in the shade Chai, yeah. Now being in our King Kylie era, which came back basically, we're gonna just overline a little bit. Then this Sephora lip stain, which I feel like gives a bit of like that concealer lip to me. And then of course there was the leaving it like this, or you can add the gloss. And I'm always a gloss girly, so I'm always adding the gloss right in the center. And then we set again. One thing we definitely were doing back then though was highlight. You should see the highlight from the back of the classroom. You weren't able to see that highlight far away. You weren't highlighted enough. Then we went to a point where we weren't highlighting at all, which I enjoyed because I personally am not a highlight girly, because there just wasn't a highlight that I liked, I guess, till I came back this last year. So I guess it's my 2026 roundup era. I came back to this highlighter palette. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna beam without like feeling gritty glitter kind of vibe. Like you see that nose highlight. And this is the completed look. I feel very 2016 and 2026. It's not that bad to add some color in once in a while. Just spice it up, sprinkle it in there. She looks stunning. She's gorgeous. I feel the flawlessness of what 2016 gave us, the bright, bold colors, but I also feel cohesive. I feel like everything works together. I don't feel washed out. I feel nice and bronzed, and we look good. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you are notified when I upload next, because why wouldn't you want to be? Definitely on a road to 1,000, and I think we can make it by July. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.